Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about the introduction about network layers protocols. Before entering to that, so what is router? So what is the purpose of the router? So we want to know that. So we know very well the router's job is to connecting the two different networks. So that is the main criteria of the router purpose. It is the interconnecting the two networks. So, so through the command line interfaces, so we can able to setting the communication to the routers. So without router, so if we are just designing some networks like this systems and switch and then routers, we are just making the design like this. Okay. So now as per this design, so all the devices are connected, but we can't able to communicate. So communication is not possible without a router determining the best path is to its designations, as well as it is finding the uh, best path to avoiding the network traffic. So this is the main responsibilities of the router. So it is managing the network traffic, as well as it is transfer the packets. It transfer the packets from one network to another network. So these are the two main rules it's working under the router. Okay. So now the router can learn about its network, right? So how it can finding the routes. So basically the two different types of the routing is there. So one is the static route and another one is the dynamic route. So we already discussed about this routing concept in the previous videos. So if you want, I'll just tag that link end of this video. Just I am giving the overview of what is static routing and then dynamic routing. Static, the name itself, it is there. It is a fixed one. So all the path and destinations, everything is fixed by the manually. So that is called as a static routing. So dynamic, the name itself, it's there. It is going to be a change based on the situation. So dynamically the routes are going to be changed based on the situation. So for this type of the routing, we need some protocols. So that is the thing we are just discussing under the networking layer routing protocols. So under the dynamic routing only, these are the protocols are working. So what is a static routing? So we are just designing everything in the manually. So who is the responsible for that? It's the administrator. So administrator is going to be deciding so from which way the packets need to be sent to the your destination. So what are all the intermediate nodes we need to be transferred? So how much time it will take? Everything it will be calculated by the admin. So what is the advantages of this static routing means? So the security is a more and more, because admin everything we are just calculated in the previous itself. But the disadvantages, suppose this is the topology means, so only the this is the way we can able to do it. So later the topology is going to be extending like this. At that time what will happen? Again the administration has to work on it, and then we need to redesign the all the routing concept. So the cost wise static routing is very uh, much cost, as well as the work if efficiency is again and again we need to work for even the topologies changes, minor or major, whatever it is, so that we are just moving for the dynamic routing concept. Under the dynamic routing, if we are just taking, so maximum we are just getting the benefits. So what are all the benefits? So it is a independent for your size. First of all, the size of the network, it's a independent, as well as it is automatically it will adapt for even the topologies or changes. Whenever the topology is going to be getting the changes, it is adapting the automations. And then the advantages, so sustainable for the suitable for all the kind of the even the simple and complex environment. Then when we are just going for the security wise, comparatively it is a less security only, because there is no major intervention of your admin. So now what are all the dynamic routing protocols are available? So the majorly uh, routing protocols. So the basic wise, we are just having the RIP protocol, that is called as the routing information protocol. In this RIP, we are just having the one more version, that is a RIP version 1 and then version 2. So the version 1 it's a basic thing, and then version 4 little bit it's a advanced compared with the version 1. And when we are just going for the larger, so this is for the basic networks. So when the network size is going by the large, so the advanced routing protocols are working. What are all the advanced routing protocol means? So that comes under the OSPF, and then IS and IS and IGRP and BGP and EIGRP. So all these things comes under the advanced routing protocols. So mainly the routing protocols we will be classified in the two different way. Classification of routing protocols. So what are all the classification and what basis the routing protocols are classified means? So based on the networking communications. So one is the interior gateway protocols. Interior gateway protocols. So what is meant by interior gateway routing protocols means? So the interior means, so the routing, it will be only the inside of the network, that is interior. Okay, or otherwise we can call it as the intra domain routing protocols. So another one is the obviously it's the opposite, the exterior gateway protocols. So or otherwise we can call the interdomain. So interdomain means the routing between the autonomous, or this one is routing inside the allocation system or within the autonomous system. So these are the things will be work on. So what are all the interdomain routing protocol and intra-domain routing protocols? Now the previously we discussed the what are all the protocols are available, right? So RIP protocol, OSPF, BGP, all the things. So now under this classification, so those protocols are comes under the which type? So first the basic thing obviously it is comes under the RIP, it's a intra-domain, it is a interior gateway protocols, RIP, as well as the EIGRP and OSPF. These all the three, it comes under the interior gateway. And then exterior, so BGP and MBGP, the version of the BGP. So only the BGP is comes under the exterior. So what is the abbreviation of these things? Means OSPF is the open shortest path first. Open shortest path first algorithm. And then BGP is the border gateway protocols. So the name itself is there. It's a communicating, going to be communicate between the borders. So one network with the another network. So like that it will be going to be. So each and every routing protocols have its own algorithms too. So based on that algorithm, it is designing their protocols. So the REP protocol is mainly used by the algorithm of the distance vector. The DV is the algorithm name. It is called as the distance vector algorithm. So based on this distance vector algorithm, the RIP protocol is going to be work on it. So then what about the OSPF? So that too, it's having its own algorithm. So that name is called as a link state algorithm. So the link state algorithm is working under the OSPF. Similarly, the BGP, it's having its own algorithm that is called as a path vector. So these are all the three algorithm is behind under these protocols. So the mainly the role of a dynamic routing protocols we know very well. So the routing protocols allows the routers to dynamically shares the information about the remote network. That is the main purpose of the dynamic routing protocol. So whenever the topologies are going to be changed or whatever it is, so the informations are going to be updated dynamically about our remote networks or other networks, which one we are just unaware about that. So that is going to be automatically add this information under the routing table. So the routing table, it contains the information above. So what are the three information will be available under the routing tables? Okay, so what is our forwarding value? So what is the distance between that? What is our next hop router? So these are the information will be available under the routing table. So whenever the remote networks, whenever it is going to be changes, so the protocol will be dynamically updates that routing table information, so that we can able to exchanging the information when there is a topology changes. Okay, so this is the main advantages of the routing dynamic routing protocol. Fine. So then disadvantages or limitation we already we discussed. So the security is the very less when we are just going for the broadcast or multicast routing. So in that cases the security is going to be lesser, as well as it needs some additional resources, because we are whenever the dynamic updation is there, right? So we need some additional resources like CPUs. Resources we are just need CPU and memory, and then bandwidth. So these are all the things we need additional things. So due to this, the cost is going to be increased in the dynamic routing protocols. Okay. So the next thing, before entering to the main routing protocols, so we want to know about the types of the routing. First one is the unicast routing. What is mean by unicast? Okay, so the datagrams are designated for only one destination. So that is the thing is called unicast. Okay, so the packets are going to be forward. It's like us one to one. One to one means it's a unicast. Okay, multicast routing, so very simple. So the datagrams decided for to several destinations, not only the one. So we have the several destination will be there. So this is called as a one to many path. Okay, so the router has forwarding the table forward the packets to the appearing the next node on its way to final destinations. Okay, so final destination it may be the somewhere else, but the router need to be decided based on the routing table, so where I need to forward the packets, so what is my immediate the next router. So like that, based on that it will going to be forwarding the packets to the our destination, that it may be the based on these two kind of the routing. So that is one is the unicast routing and another one is the multicast routing. These are the two types. Okay, so the forwarding table or otherwise we are just called as a routing table, right? So what is the role of this routing table? So it is forwarding the packets a router using the piece of some information. So what is that piece of information? It will be there like this two informations. For example, it's a B and then some data. Okay, if I'm just having the networks like this is a router and this is one more network and then here one and two. So the network one and two, three, four like this. And here we are just having some piece of information and then D is data. So now what is the routing table or otherwise a forwarding table means? So your table contain like this. Okay. So first value is the your forwarding value. What is that value will be there? And then the output of the information, that is your interface your number. Interface number, it's nothing but your network number. Okay, so that it will be specified here. So for example, the forwarding value is A and then the network number which will be the 1, and similarly the forwarding value is B and then the network interface number which will be 2 like this. So when this the piece of information is coming, so B, so it will check the value from the routing table. So the this is the value. So where I need to forward this packet, either the 3 or 4 or 2. So now we will check the routing tables, or otherwise we are just check the forwarding table. So it's called as a FT or otherwise RT. So RT is nothing but routing table or FT means forwarding table. Now we will check this. So the forwarding table, it contains the information, the B information is coming. So we need to transfer the interface line is 2. So now this data is going to be transferred through this interface. So when the A value is coming from anywhere else, so we need to forward that interface through the line 1, that is a network 1. So like that, each and every router contains like this kind of the forwarding table. Based on that, the packets are going to be passing to the another network. Okay, so this is the uh, basic information about our routing protocols. In the next video we will just work on it the in-depth concept of the each and every routing protocol, how it is working. Thank you.